what we'll do for the next few minutes is just have a look at what I've changed in the Dissertation Handbook, right? Like I say, because we've had a look at the journal and decided to go with that, that means I've got to change it slightly again, but the principle will still be the same. That's about having a logbook and a formal mark given for engagement with the tutorial supervisor process. Part of that will be online, but I'm still going to be insisting on some face-to-face meetings during the year.
Is that online?
So the changes aren't that lengthy in terms of words being changed within the document. But if we look at the summary page, the proposal's still the same, still 5% for that, and the deadline is still 12 noon on Friday the 24th of October. So that is no different.
Isn't that quite a big document?
Yeah. No. There's guidance within this document about what goes in the proposal, and some of the other stuff that we look at in a little while, maybe next week as well, will help you to know what needs to go in a proposal. Alright? But it's sort of got a have some detail on what your project is going to be. Projects. So where were we before I won't say interrupted, but before Chris come in and done his bit? We were talking about this, and I said that bit's not changed with regard to the proposal. What has changed is I've taken out, and I think that was number 3 on here, I've taken out the need for you to submit a interim report. Okay, so there is no interim report anymore. The marks that were for the interim report are here, the 15% for ongoing dissertation tutorial with supervisor. So that's going to be this diary, journal, and your minutes, specifically minutes from face-to-face meetings with me, that you'll put on your journal in some form or another. Okay, and because we decided to go with the electronic thing, I'm just going to have to slightly rewrite the other part of this and put something in here to say that is. So that diary will end on that date. So that needs to be a completed diary by then, or it will be complete, and that's when that will be marked after that date. So you won't make any entries after 12 noon on Friday the 24th of April, and that will be marked. If you note, that's the same date as the handing of the final report is due. So you won't need to hand that in paper form at all. Yeah, exactly how the marking process will go, I'll be able to tell you a bit more about that once I see how the use of it is going.
Is that almost just like a diary that we used to do in BTEC?
I don't know, because I don't know what your BTEC diary was like, Dan. All right.
And then you didn't do it.
Yeah. So that's the change in a nutshell, really, is that the 15% for an interim report has been taken away and put instead towards you making sure you engage with the ongoing meetings with me. Okay? Because from past experience, the last 2 or 3 years, those that engage properly and regularly with tutorials do much better than those that don't. Okay? It has to be led by you. I'm certainly not going to be leading it. I might, if you haven't been to see me by the time we get to February, I might be chasing you, but I'm not expecting that to happen. All right? So that's the main area, and that details the changes in the dates and so on. You will still do an ongoing or a dissertation progress presentation in early February or March. There's 3 dates, so you'll have the opportunity to book a presentation, first come, first served, on one of those 3 dates. And I've got an online system for you to be able to book them as well. That'll be up there in good time. Okay. Well, you'll have to get there. You'll have to get in quick then, Daniel, won't you? So moving down to page 9 of the upgraded document, and I'm going to have to slightly rewrite this again to mention the online thing. Okay. But just wanted to highlight there that this 15% is going to be awarded for the keeping of this journal or diary. Yeah. What I'm going to be looking for the fact that you students are reliable for booking meetings with me. Yeah. I'm not going to be doing it. Students responsible for completing a record of the meeting on a pro forma. Well, you'll need to bring something with you to make notes so that you can put a comprehensive journal entry regarding that meeting, okay? And my comments will sign afterwards, will sign that off, okay? I was going to go with a form that you would put in your Word document that you then send to me and we get each entry signed. This is going to, using the online is going to make that process a lot easier, because I'll automatically acknowledge that you've done it, the fact that I'll pass comment. Okay?
But the meeting would literally just sort of come to you and say, can we have a meeting, or do we have to go through a set procedure?
Well, it's no formal procedure, but because while you're doing turbo machinery, you're going to be coming in anyway, but an email. Back towards email, we can make an arrangement. Okay. No. But the fact that I'm expecting you to write up the meeting afterwards, Daniel. Right? Well, you don't need to evidence the email to me to book an appointment. The fact that you've done it and I acknowledge it on your journal will be enough. Yeah, you could. Yeah, if you want to. I've got no. The journal is yours. You use it how you think you need to do to evidence the fact that you're working on this dissertation on an ongoing basis, and you are engaging with the process of talking to your supervisor.
So are you going to be checking the journal fairly?
Well, with regard to checking it, I think I'm going to try and see if I can get any kind of indication that someone's made an entry. All right. Now I might be able to get that if I get this act thing. Okay. I don't know.
You can add to the journal.
Okay.
I put a test box sometimes.
Yeah. Now whether that's possible that I can have indication that somebody's done that, I don't know. But if there is no way that I can get an indication, I'll make a commitment to look at it on a regular basis. I'll put a reminder in my diary to do that. All right. If we're going to go with this, then as quick go on there, see if anybody's made any new entries and comment on them. All right. And if I ain't doing that, email me. Okay. But don't expect me to do it instant. If I ain't done something within 5 days of you putting an entry up, let me know and I'll do it. All right. So it's the responsibility of the student to complete a pro forma signed. Well, it's your responsibility now to use the journal, and I will amend that accordingly. Students should keep a log of ongoing work correspondence that includes signed meeting performers, hand in electronically at the deadline. Well, that now won't happen. You can see now why I've got to change this. All right. Logbook evidence should be made available for inspection at tutorials. You now won't have to do that. I will know what's been going on since the last meeting, because that will be in a journal if you've been using it. Okay. In later tutorials, Christmas, supervisor will be expecting to see evidence the final report has been started. Although we've got no formal marked and mark given hand in for the final report, like I said earlier, I will be expecting to see a draft sometime after Christmas. I won't have a lot of confidence if I haven't seen a draft and know that that dissertation report is already in progress. And by that time, large portions, if not all your literature will have been reviewed, and you'll be working on the body of the overall report, depending on what your subject matter is. Because sometimes findings can mean that you have to go back and review some more literature. I respect that, right? But I don't expect by the time you get to that progress presentation that you're still talking about and haven't reviewed any literature. And we have had that in the past, where even at that stage they're presenting what they're going to look at as opposed to what they have looked at. I would expect to see some literature reviewed. I mean, in the proposal I might even expect to see, depending upon subject matter, that you've already had a quick look and you've got an idea of what type of literature you're looking for, whether that's in the area of health and safety, if that's a big part of your project, or calculations on hydraulic systems, or whatever it is you're doing. You would have an idea of what you need to find out through your literature research. Okay? There's a detailed grading matrix in Appendix A for a detailed indication on how the logbook will be graded. Again, now we've decided to use the journal, I may well have to revisit that, but we'll just have a quick look at it anyway. There we go. So, progress logbook. Two sections to it. Student engagement with supervised tutorials, and logbook recording of project progress. So that'll now be changed slightly to mention the journal. Okay. I'm looking for you to have a minimum of 4 face-to-face tutorials and records of them recorded on the journal. That's that top bit. Okay. And we're looking here, student books tutorials with supervisor on a regular basis, organises the use of them effectively to inform project progress to an outstanding level. An appropriate number, always appropriate number. Some projects might need more supervision than others. Minimum of 4 tutorials are booked. If we look down towards the lower grades, in fact, if we look at refer, student does not fully engage with the dissertation tutorial process by, what's that? Engaging with regular supervised tutorials. Alright. Logbook recording of progress. Logbook includes, that'll now be journal includes, an appropriately detailed and accurate signed record of all dissertation tutorial meetings. So that's the minimum of 4 of those.
So
okay.
The logbook will have your minutes, which you
yeah, that'll be big entries where you're going to detail what was talked about, whether there are any actions and who's going to do it. Some of it might be things for me. I wouldn't expect there to be a lot for me to do. It's more likely to be what you're going to do or what you're going to get somebody else to do, right? But there'll also be other entries, so you can keep an online record of progress that I can comment on an ongoing basis.
So the report will have anything will have the logbook, which will have all our little bits. It's the logbook that emphasised to forward.
No, because the logbook now is going to be the online journal, Daniel. I'm not expecting you to print that off in any way or put it in any Word document. I will already have seen it ongoing as the project progresses. Yeah? Okay. The logbook has evidence of record keeping for the project dissertation. So these are other general entries of your progress recording as you go along, separate to the actual meetings. And these records are used in a highly effective manner, so you should be showing how you're using them to control the project. Yeah? So how you're arranging meetings, whether the meetings take place. whether you're having any difficulty arranging meetings, and so on. Okay?
You do an Excel project plan, and the milestones, you should have our meetings.
Yes. You know, it always has to be dependent on what the dissertation is, doesn't it? Because they're all very, very, very different. Yeah? So I can't be more prescriptive than that. But your diary should help to inform and control your project, and it should be obvious. In a really good one, it'll be obvious that you're using that diary to keep the project under control and on target. Yeah? Okay? Gents, just to finish off then, I don't know whether this has been here all the while, right? But I found this assignment toolkit. I'm just going to show you what it looks like, a couple of little bits and pieces, and then show you a couple of things I've picked out of it that I'd like you to engage onto the discussion forum that we've had around setting your title stroke dissertation question. The assessment toolkit or assignment toolkit, right? And there's bits about essays and reports and portfolios and so on. So I wish we'd have found it before. Maybe it wasn't there before. But anyway, it's there now. Dissertation. We click on that. There's a menu that goes through lots of things about writing and going through your dissertation. All right, and there's a getting started section that we're going to home in on a little bit this week. That's very generalised, and it really hasn't got an engineering flavour, but I don't think that means you can't get anything out of it, okay? Because there'll be some pretty good advice as you go through some stuff about the supervision, what your structure should be like, finding resources, referencing. I haven't looked at it yet, but perhaps I'll have a look at that one before next week, see what that's got to say, pick out some key parts around referencing, but of course you can do that at your leisure as well. Yeah. What we are going to have a look at is some bits within this early section here, and to do with the proposal, developing your research question. Okay, so have a look, follow some of the guidance. You should be able to find some stuff that's useful on that particular piece of guidance. And I'll just repeat, it's available from the left-hand menu here, Assignment Toolkit. Okay. Now what I've done is picked a couple of things. This is on the very first page, and I reckon you'll experience all of that as you go through your dissertation. Drudgery, procrastination, panic, despair. That will probably come about January, February time. Okay. More drudgery as you try to write the report up, and printing. Well, you won't do the last one, will you? But you'll hit that deadline where, I'm sorry, yes you will, because 2 hard copies will be handed in. The reason for that, gents, is the dissertation, unlike all the other work, has to be what's called blind double marked. So Dave has to mark it without knowing any comments or mark that I've given, and vice versa. And the only way we can, once I've made a comment on a Learn UCS system, if I marked it before Dave, he'd be able to see my comments and vice versa. So we do it on paper and then put the comments on afterwards. Yeah. Yeah.
Only one due can look at that one, can't look at the other.
Yeah, that's not set up like that. So we have that in paper form. Okay. The other reason is really good pieces of work are sometimes displayed when we have a display of the work that students do. Okay. And I'm looking for some good and bad stuff, perhaps like Chris does, to show other students in the future. So, but we ain't going to get any bad stuff from you guys, are we? Yeah.
I think they should have one more.
Yeah, that's a good one, Joe. Yeah, yeah. All right, so I picked that off. I thought that was quite good, and I think you'll go through most of that. All right, but at the end, hopefully, you will have applied a lot that you've already learned and learned something new by doing the dissertation. I also picked this out. What the assessor's looking for. Identify a problem that raises a particularly interesting issue worth researching. So your employers might have something they want you to do anyway. I'd say in the context of this engineering dissertation, it could be about solving a problem at work, where you've got an issue that has been ongoing for a long time and that needs solving, or coming up with a new design for something. So because ours has got an engineering flavour, might slightly turn that round a little bit. But that's not any less useful to know that you're identifying a problem to be solved. You're going to analyse it, produce significant, interesting questions that are capable of sustaining an in-depth investigation. So you're going to need a question to answer, a problem to solve, one that's measurable. Yeah. Never forget that word, measurable. Can we measure whether you've achieved your aim or not? Yeah. Explore literature. You've had some work today on how to do that through the university library and its e-books and online journals and things. So you're going to explore, search out, find useful information around your topic. Okay? Or be frustrated because you can't damn well find anything. That can happen. Yeah. Design a research strategy. So is there any experimentation you can do? Can you measure the outputs of generators or whatever it is you're working on? This again, it all depends upon what your subject matter is. Okay? Devise effective data collection tools. So if you are, for instance, when we look at the example I talked about a little while ago of finding out whether we can supply X amount of power for this building via renewable means, you're going to need to collect some data, particularly what is the load on a month-by-month basis throughout the year, or at least the load now. How much electricity does this site use at this moment in time? So that you can say, can we supply 15% of it, 20% of it, so on. So you might need, depending again on your subject matter, data collection tools. You might need to send out surveys to people you work with if you're looking at putting some kind of new method of working around, I don't know, lean manufacture or something like that. We had one, a dissertation along those lines last year actually, and he had to do surveys out to people as to whether they thought his ideas were going to work and so on. Okay. Once you've done that, you've got to process that material. So you've got to process all that information you got from reading the documents. Yeah. You've got to process information that you gathered from other people, data that you've got, and assess it critically. Remember what critical is. It's got to be a balanced argument. There is a tendency through assignments on the course and in the dissertations to a certain extent where only the good is talked about, only the advantages are talked about, and it's not balanced in identifying what the disadvantages are. Got to have a balanced argument. Yeah? Draw conclusions on the basis of what you find and how you assess it. Write the dissertation. So as you go along, be thinking about how you're going to write this up all the time. Start making a draft version of your report. If you ain't started that by January, you should be concerned that you haven't actually started writing up some of your dissertation in its final or almost final form. Okay? And lastly, I picked this out. And this is what I want you to look at on the area this week and start to try to help each other to formulate your dissertation title or research question. when you formulate your research question, you need to be careful that it's not too vague. There's some examples there of vague ones. What are the effects of workplace bullying? Alternatively, a more specific one, an analysis of the experience of workplace bullying on the part of male graduate interns in the construction industry. A lot more specific, a lot easier to get a good set of research for. Is exercise good for children? It's a bit vague. Yeah. A study of relevant benefits of 3 different physical activities on the work and memory performance of Key Stage 2 primary children narrows that down but makes it more detailed. So you picked a target group, yeah, and you narrowed down the problem that you're going to look at a particular group of people, and you've said how you got a little bit about how you're going to do it.
It's explained what you do.
Yes.
Still hasn't given you the question. Well, that is the question.
But that's a study of that. So your results are going to be whether the physical activities chosen make a difference or not.
Still not part
Yeah.
of the index is saying whether it's exercise. Nothing saying it's right to be done. It's just saying it's a study.
No, but you would say within your study you're going to say what has been done, man. You don't want a research question that's 6 pages long, do you? Right? Or even a page long. Is frozen food better than tinned food? It's a bit vague, isn't it? Yeah. A comparison of the vitamin C content. So you're saying within the question how you're going to judge whether that's better. You're going to measure the vitamin C content of leading brands of frozen and tinned peas. Yeah. And I know these are out of our subject area, but that don't make that information any less valuable to you making your best attempt to write a valid and a good research question that you can then go on to develop into a good dissertation. Too vague, the nude in art, as opposed to similarities and differences in contemporary perceptions of the female form in the works of whoever they are, Anish Kapoor and Anthony Gormley. Yeah, so they've targeted down to 2 particular artists, said exactly what they've narrowed the question down. Otherwise, it's too broad. Yep. Okay. So what I'm looking for you guys to do this week is on that discussion forum we looked at earlier. If you've got an idea for a dissertation title, air it with your peers and me. Okay. And we'll see if we can get a discussion going as to whether that's too vague or too specific. Try not to put too much detail, make too lengthy a dissertation question, have too many questions to answer, otherwise your project will be too difficult to achieve. Right? It's not an easy one, and you may find that as you go along you have to change your question slightly. You never know, but if you haven't got one to start with, or it's too vague, you're not going to be able to write these specific measurable outcomes that you're going to try and achieve. Okay? So have a go at that this week, see how you get on. Right? I have finished for today.